So I wanted to make a video on how vocabulary is linked to success and making more money. And this is a point that took me a while to understand, but once I understood, I realized, first of all, making money is easier than I thought, but at the same time not as easy, because I had to learn a lot more words. So think of it this way. I'll give this example, and if you hear the rain, it's kind of rainy, so I don't know how the sound will be, but hopefully you can hear me. So let's say I'll give you a example that has nothing to do with money, but then I'll bring it back to money just so you see. So I was talking to a guy the other day, and he was into sports, and I was trying to explain this point of vocabulary to him in a way that he could understand. So he likes sports. As a matter of fact, he was into soccer, right? Like, he liked playing the game soccer. So I just used that example. I was like, let's say soccer, originally you have 11 players on each side, and the goal is to take the ball from here and score it on that side. You take the ball into the net, and that counts as a score, and you can't use your hands. But now let's say you had zero understanding of what the game soccer was. Let's say you're a child and you have no understanding of what the game soccer is, but all I tell you is, you are here, you have a ball, you can't use your hand, somehow you have to use your feet, and then if the ball crosses that line over there, which if you've been in a soccer field, it's massive, if you get it done past that, then you score a point. But now the thing is, there's 11 people that are trying to take the ball away from you. Now imagine you have no vocabulary, no understanding of that you have teammates, what passing is, what dribbling, shooting. Let's say you don't know any of that. You're thinking, oh, I just have to walk and somehow I have to score it. There's no way, right? Because you're like, if 11 people are attacking me, like, there's no way I could do it. That's why you hear a lot of people where they try to do something, they're like, there's no way, that's impossible. Even though hundreds and thousands of people have done it, they'll still be like, oh, there's no way. Because they just don't know how to get from here to score the ball. But now imagine I introduce two words into your vocabulary. Let's say I explain to you, oh, now you have 10 teammates, so in total you guys are 11 people. And the word passing, meaning you could pass the ball anytime to any of the teammates. Now in your head, it becomes a lot more achievable to pass the ball and not do it on your own. Now you're like, okay, maybe I could get the ball across. Now it just became easier. Just introducing two words, your entire experience of how you see the game and how you play the game just changed. Because before you were like, there's no way, how can I do it on my own? But now you see, okay, I could pass it to a teammate. So do you see how just introducing two words into that person's vocabulary, their entire view of the game changed? Now imagine if I, on top of that, explain to them the word dribbling. Now they're like, oh, without even passing, I could just dribble, and then maybe at some point if I could pass if I need to. Now it just became easier. Now imagine you introduce the word shooting, because they don't know what shooting is, so they think they have to walk into the goal. But you explain shooting, meaning you could kick it as far as you want. Now they're like, oh, I don't have to go all the way and walk past the goalkeeper to score. So you see how each word just changed that person's perspective on how the game of soccer works. Now bring it back to money. Let's say you have a business, but let's say you don't know what the word KPI means. But I introduced that to you, and I explained KPI stands for Key Performance Indicator. And what that is what is the number that you need to hit each week that'll almost guarantee you making a sale that week. And because if you don't have a KPI, you don't have a Key Performance Indicator, then you're just building a business, doing whatever you want. You're not even hitting numbers and wondering, why am I not making sales? Why am I not making money? Because you don't understand that. But then now, so you see how that one word changes your experience of, oh, sales, there's a lot more to it. So now imagine in business, there's so many words that you need to know that'll help you make more money. And each word will help you make just a little bit more, just a little bit more. And I had a mentor that said, imagine each word that you knew how to spell, comprehend, and process, you made an extra $10. How many words would you want to know? And people are like, all of them, or a million words, right? So it's that simple. And there was a study I read where the average CEO makes $100,000 to $200,000 more per year than the average person's salary. And when you really look at it, it comes down to their vocabulary. They just know more. They know how to talk to people better. They know how to express themselves. They have the right tonality, which all of that is, again, just the person's vocabulary. Because even tonality, you have lowering your voice, highering your voice, your pitch, this, that, like all these different words, right? Knowing that, for example, in sales, they give an example, right? For example, let's say the phrase, let's say I didn't steal money, okay? You could, each word, each letter or word that you emphasize in there changes the meaning of that whole thing. So let's say I didn't steal the money, means, okay, I didn't steal the money. I didn't steal the money means, okay, maybe someone else stole the money, right? I didn't say that I did it. Or I didn't steal the money means that you didn't steal the money. I didn't steal the money means maybe, okay, you borrowed it or something. But so you see, it's like, or you could do I didn't steal the money, right? Meaning, okay, maybe you stole something else. But it's like, that's just an example I made up. But you see, even within that, each word that you change changes the whole thing. So imagine in sales, the way you communicate, depending on what you emphasize and what you don't emphasize, changes how that person will understand you. And based on how the person understands you, determines whether the person is going to give you the money or not. Like even YouTube, the way I communicate, people subscribe without even me saying subscribe most of the time. Or like, hey, share the video and all that stuff. But most people, because I'm giving so much value, they're like, shit, maybe I should subscribe, right? And the subscribers are increasing and I'm not even saying to subscribe. But you should, however, share the video if you are not sharing it for whatever reason. But yeah. But you see, that's how simple it is. So I'm still going through research of even more behind the scenes of like, okay, all the research. Like, for example, there's a guy named Johnson O'Connor, which back in the 1920s, General Electric, their technology and everything were improving so fast, right? Like imagine they went from using candles to now all of a sudden they have a light bulb or all this stuff. And so the employees don't even know how that works. But now they have to come up with light switches and all this stuff. So they couldn't keep up. And so GE, General Electric, fired a bunch of people. They had a high employee turnover. So they could hire different ones, employees who could understand what's going on. But back then they didn't have like Indeed.com or all these websites where you could post a job ad and a bunch of people would apply. So they were like, how do we get these employees to just adapt and be able to learn as fast as we're growing? And so they brought this guy named Johnson O'Connor, and he was a Harvard graduate and I think a former researcher for like the US Air Force. And he did like decades of research, and I'm going through his research right now. And pretty much he discovered that the key was vocabulary. That people with higher incomes and people who could express themselves had higher vocabularies. People who had higher vocabularies, they could talk more effectively, they could get people to understand them better, and all that stuff. And in his study, it's like shows how vocabulary is linked to IQ, how vocabulary is linked to violence. Like areas that there's more violent, the level of vocabulary is lower because they can't communicate, so it's like they become angry and all that. And it's really fascinating. And so because General Electric, they found that out early on, and they brought this guy and they found how to increase people's vocabulary, then now you see G is what they are today. Now they make military weapons, they household appliances and all sorts of things, you know. And big companies like Jeff Bezos and companies like that also figure out how to teach their employees similar way, how to get them to adapt as well, right? And for me, I just use a technology that systematically helps my vocabulary increase. So that's why my income systematically is increasing more, relationships getting better, friendships and things like that. And if you want to know more about that tool that I use, then you could reach out, because there's not much information online. But yeah, that's what I use, because I realize, if I just increase my vocabulary, all these other areas I change. So now for you, look at what is it that you're trying to learn. Health. Like if you want to learn health, losing weight, you have to understand, okay, what is calorie intake, calorie deficit, all these different words, just to understand, okay, how to lose weight, for example. But imagine if you don't know calorie deficit and you're just eating whatever you want, and you could be even working out and all that and wondering why you don't lose weight and maybe you're gaining weight. It's because you don't know the calorie deficit. And then within calorie deficit, how do you be in calorie deficit without starving or doing all this stuff, right? That's vocabulary. So it's that simple, right? So for you, look at what is it that you are doing and what are the words that you need to learn to get the result you want. And the easiest way is just find someone who's doing it and see what they're saying, see what they're talking about, what are the words they're using, because people will, the words that they're using means the words you need to understand to then do what they're doing. And again, if you want an easy way to do that, then just reach out to me on Facebook, Instagram, it's in the description. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. It's raining like crazy, so I'm gonna focus on driving. But yeah, if you have any feedback, any points, leave it in the comments. If you watched this part, put the word success in the comments, just so I could see you finish watching the whole video. But yeah, thanks for watching all the way. Make sure to like, share the video, all the stuff that the YouTubers say. But yeah, for real, share it, and then I'll see you in the next one. Bye.